Have you ever pondered on the forgotten struggles of people around the world? As we turn our attention today, we look at the comprehensive impacts of the United Kingdom's colonial past, which has led to numerous border issues globally, including in the Middle East. Today specifically we focus on Ahwaz. Nestled along the eastern coast of the Arabian Peninsula, this region is not only rich in culture, history, and resources, but it also bears the scars of colonial map-making. Its Arab inhabitants have faced a struggle for liberation for over 100 years, a struggle largely unnoticed and tied intricately to the lasting effects of colonial borders. Today, we delve into the century-old struggle of Ahwaz, a story forgotten by many, yet deeply entwined with the legacy of British imperialism. Ahwaz, once a thriving Arab nation rich in resources, was subsumed by Iran in 1925. This signified the inauguration of a 100-year struggle that has defined the lives of the inhabitants of Ahwaz, which persists into contemporary times. To fully appreciate the severity of the circumstances, it's critical we take a step back to explore the history of Ahwaz, including the lesser-known yet significant influence of the United Kingdom. A region blessed with plentiful resources, Ahwaz was an autonomous Arab nation until the early 20th century. Its prosperity and cultural richness made it a nexus of Arab traditions, with the Arabic language resonating throughout its towns and cities. However, the tides of change surged in 1925, with the interference of Reza Shah Pahlavi, the progenitor of the Pahlavi dynasty in Iran, who annexed Ahwaz. The UK played a significant role here as they were heavily involved in defining the borders in this part of the world during the colonial period. This annexation marked the advent of a new epoch, one that would strip Ahwazi Arabs of their sovereignty and cultural identity. The annexation wasn't merely a political maneuver, it was a calculated tactic to suppress the Ahwazi Arabs and exploit the region's resources. The role the UK played in defining the borders thus had lasting implications for the people and the politics of the region, extending well into the present. As years passed, the struggle of Ahwaz intensified, with their cultural identity under threat. The Arabs of Ahwaz found themselves in a battle not just for their land, but for their very heritage. Their rich culture, steeped in centuries of tradition and history, was being systematically erased. Persian language and customs were imposed, slowly suffocating the vibrant tapestry of Arab culture. The distinct dialect, the unique music, the captivating folklore of Ahwaz, all were being drowned under the wave of cultural assimilation. But this was only one facet of their struggle. The economic exploitation of Ahwaz was another grim reality that the Arabs had to confront. Despite being a region rich in oil, the wealth generated did not trickle down to the indigenous Arab inhabitants. Instead, the profits were siphoned off to other regions of Iran, leaving Ahwaz and its people impoverished. The Arabs were relegated to the fringes of society, forced to grapple with unemployment, poverty, and a lack of basic amenities. The environment too bore the brunt of such exploitation. The marshlands of Ahwaz, once a thriving ecosystem, were drained to make way for oil fields. The once fertile lands turned barren, the air thick with pollution. Rivers, the lifeblood of the community, were diverted, causing a severe water crisis. The environmental destruction was not just an assault on their land but on their way of life. Forced displacement added a haunting dimension to their struggle. Thousands of Arabs were uprooted from their homes and pushed into unfamiliar territories. Their homes were razed, their lands seized, they were rendered homeless in their own homeland. Yet amidst this intensifying struggle, the spirit of the Arabs of Ahwaz remained unbroken. Their resilience shone through the oppressive darkness, fueling their fight for liberation. Their struggle was not just about reclaiming their land, it was about reclaiming their identity, their culture, their very existence. The Arabs of Ahwaz are fighting not just for their land but for their very identity. Despite the odds, the struggle of Ahwaz continues even today, unnoticed by much of the world. A century-old fight for liberation persists, a silent war waged in the shadows of Iran's grand narratives. The Arabs of Ahwaz are in a constant struggle for recognition, for basic human rights, and above all, for their homeland. The current situation in Ahwaz is as tense as it's ever been. Systematic discrimination and repression have become the norm. The Arab population is subjected to arbitrary arrests, forced displacement, and cultural assimilation. Their land and resources are exploited without their consent, their language and culture systematically erased. It's a grim picture of human rights violations masked by the silence of the global community. Yet, the world remains largely silent. International platforms that should be amplifying these voices are instead filled with deafening silence. The plight of Ahwaz is a missing chapter in the book of global awareness, a forgotten struggle in the annals of human rights. But the Arabs of Ahwaz refuse to be silenced. They resist, despite the odds. They protest, despite the repression. They hold on to their culture, their language, their identity, despite attempts to erase them. Their struggle is ongoing, their spirit unbroken. The Arabs of Ahwaz continue to resist, their voices echoing in the silence. The struggle of Ahwaz is a testament to the resilience of a people, forgotten, yet unbroken. As we've journeyed through the past century of Ahwaz's history, we've unearthed an intricate tapestry of struggle and resistance. From the historical roots, we've seen a region rich in culture and identity, yet marginalized and overlooked. We've seen the struggle intensify as the Arabs of Ahwaz continue to fight for their rights and their recognition. In this ongoing struggle, the resilience of the Ahwazi Arabs shines through. Despite the odds, despite the adversity, they remain unbroken. Their spirit, as enduring as the ancient sands of their homeland, continues to fuel their fight for liberation. In a global context, the role of influential regions like the UK in addressing border issues and conflicts cannot be understated. Its and perspectives on such issues can make a significant difference, drawing a parallel to the struggle of Ahwaz. The UK's stance on these border disputes, including the dynamics of Ahwaz, could potentially catalyze change and highlight the plight of marginalized communities. Their story, though often forgotten, is a testament to the power of perseverance and the unyielding human spirit. In the face of adversity, the Arabs of Ahwaz continue their century-old struggle, a testament to their unbroken spirit and to the ongoing search for justice in global border issues where the UK's involvement could make a profound